All right, we're live. We're just gonna let it run. All right, you're watching live our Margate Patriot Day ceremony, September 11, 2021. It is 9 o'clock in the morning, and it's 20 years to remember.
Good morning, everyone. We'll be starting shortly. Please silence your cell phones before we begin. Thank you.
People are starting to have. I need to say anything with this here. All right, as you join our live here at Margate, at the city of Margate, we welcome you to this Patriot ceremony on September 11, 2021. Welcome, please share this video so many other of our residents can enjoy the ceremony. I'm going to be here for you if you need it. Grab it. But then I'll grab it from you when you need it.
I'll memorize it.
Sure.
I left my license expired. Right. I know I forgot. I don't want to be one of those old I want to have a lot of that.
El primer nombre de él es R. No, what's his name? All right, as we get ready, Margate Fire Chief Roberto Lorenzo will start. We'll do the opening, welcoming remarks. Stay tuned and once again share this live so many other residents can enjoy this 9/11 Patriot ceremony. Should be in a couple of minutes.
You're at the city of Rutland.
Qué lindo. As we get ready for this ceremony, for the Patriot Day ceremony, I will let you know what will be going on today. We will start with the welcoming remarks. The Margate Fire Chief, Robert Lorenzo, followed by the Honor Guard presentation of colors, national anthem. We'll then have an innovation by Chaplain Schindler. We'll have also a presentation of the retirees.
All right, so
Firefighters prayer. Station bell.
All right, thanks.
And then we'll have some closing remarks by the Margate Fire Chief Roberto Lorenzo. It's about to start, so I'm gonna this live so many other residents can enjoy this Patriot ceremony of 2021 in honor of our heroes.
Testing 1 2. Testing 1 2.
2010 and I came down to 212.
The Margate Fire Department and Police Department as well. and numerous city employees that are here today. So thank you very much. And our own community emergency response team as well that's been passing out waters and decals. I would also like to thank the support of our commission. Today we have Mayor Arlene Schwartz, Vice Mayor Arcerio, Commissioner Rosano, Commissioner Simone, Commissioner Caggiano, and House of Representatives, hopefully I don't mispronounce the last name, Hunchowski. Hunchowski, yes. Right. Thank you. If we could all stand for the presentation of colors. At this time, Margate Police Officer Lauren Liptick for the National Anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. Oh, the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave. Thank you very much.
At this time for the invocation, Chaplain Schweinler.
Thank you, Chief. I usually don't say anything more than what I've written. 20 years ago, this day changed my life. Watching what was going on unfolding before me. Over the years, I've become an expert in traumatic stress and critical incident stress management. What really has changed is this is my birthday. And it's never been the same. Let us pray. 20 years have passed since the attack on our country. We have not wavered to keep our promise to remember those who died on this horrific day. And it's not just those who died at Ground Zero, but also the nearly 10,000 uniformed personnel who have been diagnosed with cancer related to the toxic breed. Covered many of the first responders on the days during the rescue and recovery. To that battle to be faithful to their calling as we've all been covered by this evil cloud pandemic. Yet we gather to remember and ask your mercy and love upon those families who are adding to their mourning. We remember in this day also our faithful sister, the North Lauderdale driver engineer Hillary Kingwisher, who is battling cancer. Pour out your love and strength upon her. Remove the demon cancer and bring her from death to life again. And we thank you for our dear friend, Father Rekla, Father Lawrence Redka, who joined us here a few years ago. Father Rekla held vigil at the temporary morgue at Ground Zero from June until October, accompanying every body part, every personal effect to its temporary resting place. He continues to share to his ministry in Bushnell. Grant us peace in these days. Keep all uniformed personnel under your watchful eye. With legions of special angels, keep them safe in every shift. And at the end, returning to their families. Let us throughout these days and years continue our vigil, working together until we all are welcome to our eternal rest. In your most holy name we pray. Amen.
Please have a seat. At this time, I would like to present Mayor Arlene Schwartz.
Good morning. I can never get through this thing. First, thank you all for coming. This 20 years, this is like yesterday. And as a New Yorker, it really is for me. Today we gather as a nation in somber observance of the 20th anniversary of the second deadliest attack on American soil. Today we remember and mourn the 2,750 people who were killed in the North and South Tower of the World Trade Center in New York, the 184 people who died at the Pentagon, and I really can't, and the 40 brave souls who chose to sacrifice their lives by bringing a hijacked plane down in Shanksville, Pennsylvania. Today we openly grieve for the more than 400 police officers and firefighters who were killed on September 11th while trying to do what they do best, save lives. Since that day, many more, as you've heard, have died as a result of their attempt to remove toxic debris from Ground Zero, and many others live with debilitating diseases. Yesterday, I watched an interview done by Diane Sawyer called The Children of 9/11, where she documented children who were less than 2 and some unborn from their 2nd, their 5th, their 10th, and their 15th year. When they gathered together to remember their fathers. What struck me was 2 sentences and statements that were made by their parents. The first is grief is not a place to stay, it's a passage. The second was the power of humanity, is the power of coming together. Thank you for all of you for coming together today, setting aside all the petty things that are plaguing this country, and remembering the people who sacrificed so much to make the United States of America the greatest country of earth. on earth. May they always be remembered, never forgotten, always honored, and rest in peace. Thank you all for listening to me.
Thank you. Vice Mayor Arcerio. Commissioner Rosano.
Good morning, everyone. I want to thank everybody for coming out. I just saw one of our residents, Tiffany Purcell, former veteran, jog into the park, and that's awesome. I appreciate everybody coming. I don't know if you guys know, but right over there is a piece of the one of the World Trade Centers when it went down. 20 years ago, I'm from up there as well. 20 years ago, it really hit me hard. And on that day, we were told, never forget. What's going on right now? It's still a problem then, and it's still a problem now. Kids growing up today, they don't really know what happened then. We need to let them know. We can't erase history. We can't remove stuff to forget history, what's going on. People need to remember. They need to remember what history is. We just can't get rid of a statue and say it never happened. Good, bad, or indifferent, we as Americans have to know what's going on. We have to realize they're still there. They're not going away. They attacked us for a reason. Be prepared. United we stand, divided we fall. God bless America, and thank you guys for showing up.
Thank you. Commissioner Simone. Commissioner Caggiano.
Thank you, everyone, for being here this morning. A little over 25% of the U.S. population was born after this horrific event. And I especially want to thank those in the audience who are under 26. You didn't know what this day meant to most of us, and thank you for being here and respecting it. A vast majority of you know what you were doing, where you were, who you were with on that fateful morning. It'll be forever scarred in our minds. Those of us from the tri-state area, hell, those of us from anywhere who had family or friends who worked in the trade center and in lower Manhattan, just walked around in a fog until their status was known one way or the other. We have gathered here for 19 years memorializing the 2,996 who died on this day 20 years ago, honoring brothers and sisters, husbands and wives, mothers and fathers that died in that gut-wrenching morning in the terrorist attack. We honor all the first responders. I include the volunteers that dropped everything that day and put their lives at risk to find and aid the survivors, put out fires, pull out the dead, and so much more. A common phrase spoken that day is that, and still to this day, is that 9/11 changed everything. It didn't change everything. But there's a lot of things that did change. On this anniversary, we must remember that 9/11 heralded in 2 wars. Iraq in 2003 and Afghanistan in 2001. A war so long that 2 generations of soldiers had the opportunity to serve there. Wars our grandchildren will still be paying for years from now. The creation of the Department of Homeland Defense. Try paying a bill with cash at a bank for someone, make a large cash deposit, and you're treated like a money launderer. You are now guilty of using cash and now considered a potential threat. The U.S. Patriot Act, which prioritized security and defense at the expense of our civil rights. Take the TSA, for example. You now have to arrive 2 hours before a plane flight instead of 30 minutes. If you're traveling with an elder relative, only one person with a special pass can take them to the gate. Everyone else has to stay outside. You have to remove your belts, your shoes, your hats, empty your pockets, have your belongings scanned and sometimes searched, and then have yourself scanned. Try complaining about it and end up on a no-fly list. Anti-Semitism rose to staggering heights as citizens of this country were attacked by other citizens of this country because they had an accent, wore different clothes, or believed differently. In some respects, folks, we're all losers. So many have chosen to be less free, more fearful, less trusting, with guns and ammunition sales exploding for the last 2 decades. This attack has changed our America, and not in all ways for the better. E pluribus unum, for many one. This was the nation's motto for so many years and should be again. We have always bragged about America being a melting pot. We have always accomplished more when acting together, by being together, by not fearing each other. The future will only be brighter when we stop trying to rip each other apart and remember that to have a great tasting stew, like a great country, you need to add many ingredients, and you can't be fearful to do it. Lastly, real quick, I just want to say this. To every person who died on 9/11, 215 have died of COVID. Please, please get the vaccine. Please wear a mask. And please socially distance. Thank you very much. And again, thank you all for being here.
Thank you. Representative Hunchowski, please.
Thank you so much. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Thank you all for being here today, for continuing what we all pledged 20 years ago, that we would always remember and we would never forget. We all woke up that morning, all of us who were here on this earth that day, and it was a regular day. People were going to work, we were rushing. Did we say I love you to our loved ones as they walked out the door? Did we really appreciate that moment? And so many were killed on that day. And their families, still 20 years later, are dealing with the loss and the pain. In this tragedy, we also saw incredible heroism. We saw people running in to save lives. We even saw everyday people, neighbors, coming out and helping families and doing whatever they could to make a difference. Today, as we remember all those who we lost on 9/11, we also remember those who we've lost since 9/11 from injuries and illnesses that they sustained from that terrible day. We also think of all the families and the pain they've been through and what they wouldn't give to have their loved ones back.
And all they ask of us is that we acknowledge their loved ones and don't forget them. I also remember that day of how this country came together. It didn't matter who you were, how you got here, where you were from, how old or how young you were. We united as a country against a common threat. We stood together shoulder to shoulder. That is who we are. We are at our best when we are working together to help one another and to get through this life together. I want to say thank you to all our first responders. You're the ones who show bravery running in when others are trying to run out. And I want to again thank everybody for being here. We promise to never forget and to always remember every life that was lost and impacted 20 years ago today. Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, I would like to call up retired FDNY firefighter Sal D'Angelo.
Good morning, Mayor, House Rep Hudkowski, city officials, Fire Department administration, fire officers, Police Department administration, police officers, firefighters, and guests. And I'd like to make a special welcome to any veterans out there. My name is Sal D'Angelo. I'm a retired New York City firefighter who on September 11, 2001 responded to Manhattan Box 8087, known to everyone else as the World Trade Center. These flowers are in memory of the 343 firefighters, 23 police officers, 37 Port Authority police officers who gallantly gave their lives attempting to save others. Some numbers for you. In addition to those who perished on that day, as of September 1st of this year, 275 police officers, 258 firefighters have passed away as a result of illnesses or injuries associated with September 11th. The state continues to show its destruction. Statistics now reveal that every 40 hours, a civilian who worked or lived in the area, a firefighter, an EMT, or a police officer dies as a result of 9/11. I ask that you remember them today and every day in your hearts and thoughts. As long as we live, they too will live, for they are a part of us now. To the active firemen and police officers, be brave, be smart, be safe, and may you always, always return home to your family after each and every tour. Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, Chief Alar will be reading the firefighter's prayer.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you all for coming out. I've been reading this prayer now for the last 3 or 4 times we've held this event, and yesterday I was thinking about it and I said, what's the story behind this? Is this really a prayer? I thought it was a religious thing, and it's really not. It's a poem that a fireman wrote back in 1958 by the name of A.W. Smokey Lynn. At that time, he was a young firefighter who just returned from World War II and joined the volunteer fire service. And the reason he wrote this poem was in order to grieve a call that he ran where 3 children lost their lives in a fire. His granddaughter tells a story that he passed on to her on how this happened and why he thought it was important for firemen to have a prayer that they can say once a life is lost. The Fireman's Prayer was originally published in a book called Celebration of Poets in 1958. And I guess that's where you can find it now, if it's still in publication. And now the Fireman's Prayer. When I am called to duty, whenever flames may rage, give me the strength to save someone's life, whatever be its age. Help me to embrace a little child before it's too late, or someone older, from the horrors of this fate. Enable me to be alert and hear the weakest shout, and quickly and effectively put the fire out. I want to feel my calling and give it my best to guard my neighbor and protect his property. According to your will, if I will lose my life, please bless with your protecting hand my children and my wife. Thank you. As the EMS chief, I'll be remiss if I don't say it's a hot day. Please, there's water. If you all feel lightheaded, please reach out to one of our shirt members. We'd be happy to give you some water. Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Fire 3 volley!
At this time, Chief or Ched will review the code 5555 with Chief Rodriguez tolling the bell.
Good morning, everybody. Code 5555. The fire service is rich in tradition, and before telephones, computers, and 911, fire alarms were transmitted to a dispatch center by a telegram from a fire alarm box and then relayed to firehouses using the same technology. Depending on the type of situation, a bell in the firehouse would ring a certain number of times, and firefighters would then have an idea of where they needed to go and what for. While those days are gone, one code is still widely known throughout the fire service: 5555. The 4 5s, a bell struck in 4 intervals of 5 rings each, signifies the last alarm of a firefighter, that he or she has returned to a higher station. This signal is a sign of honor and respect for all firefighters who have made the ultimate sacrifice and has become a time-honored tradition.
Thank you. Please have a seat. Today we are honoring and remembering all those heroes and victims of this tragic event. We have memorialized this event with each decal that was passed out. Please hold those close to your heart and share with your family. Patriots Day also represents the struggles for those that were permanently affected by the response and are still dealing with permanent health effects such as cancer, pulmonary disease, blood disorders, and post-traumatic stress disorder. It falls upon us to never forget. And we will never forget. Again, on behalf of the City of Margate, thank you for sharing with us today here on Patriots Day. This concludes our ceremony. Thank you. Just one quick announcement. Those retirees or city employees see me after this event. Honor guard, dismissed.
Watch your pocketbooks open.
Thank
I gave mine away. Helmet. But I gave my
All right, everyone. Thank you for watching. This concludes our transmission of the Patriot Day ceremony. 20 years to remember. Have a great weekend.
I'll see you later, man.